Alright Dragons, this is the Unit 6 review. We're talking perimeter. Talking the perimeter of the square. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up the four sides on each of these. We know that all the sides are the same, so if this side is y, so is that, so is that, so is that. Y plus y plus y plus y is 4y. So the perimeter of this small one is going to be 4y. Same thing over here, except now we have a side of x. This side's x, that side x. That's all four sides are the same. X plus x plus x plus x. It means I've got 4x. This perimeter is going to be 4x. So now let's go back and let's piece together the system. First sentence, sum. Sum means to add. So I need to add the two perimeters, which I've just found here. I need to add them together and set it equal to 64. So as I look at my answer choices, there's really only one that adds 4x plus 4y is equal to 64. The answer is D. Now, if there was another one that had 4x plus 4y equals 64, let's see what the other part of the sentence gives. The difference, the subtraction, between the perimeters is 16. So we'll always subtract the large minus the small. So we would have 4x minus 4y, because this square is bigger than this one, right? So 4x minus 4y is 16. You can see that that's the second one right here. Problem number 2. A variety of ways we can do problem number 2. We take a look at this right here. I've got a y-intercept of 1/2. I have a positive slope, and if I go from one point to another, I've got to go up 1 unit and right 2. Up is positive, right is positive. So I need a positive 1/2 slope and a positive 1/2 y-intercept. So I need something that says 1/2 x plus 1/2 y. That's about plus 1/2, not 1/2 y. That's that, and that one works, that one is. Is that the only one that has that one right there? This one has a negative slope, so that one doesn't work. That has a different y-intercept. That's none of these things. I guess the answer's got to be B. Let's verify the other one. If I look at this one over here, I've got a y-intercept of 3. I've got a negative slope. And so let's see, let's go from this point down to this one. So I'm going to go down 2 and right 1. Down is negative, right is positive. So my slope is a negative 2. And if I check it right there, yeah, there's a negative 2 with a y-intercept of 3. This is the one that we want. If you take those and put them in your calculator, you can verify this as well. You could also do a regression. If you do these points or these ordered pairs, do a regression, and it will give you the equations. Problem number 3. I need to solve for y, so I'm going to take this guy right here and I'm going to divide everything by 5. That's going to be y is equal to 3/5 x plus 1. Over here I'm going to zero out the x term by adding 0.5 x to both sides. I'm going to rewrite it so that it stays as clear as possible. 4.5x plus 7.5. I'm really not worried about the decimals because the calculator is going to help me out here in a second. So I'll divide by the coefficient of y. So it cleans up. Any number divided by itself is 1. So hey, notice I have the same y-intercepts. Okay, so now let's take our calculator and do 4.5 divided by 7.5. And what does that give me? 0.6. But my other one is a fraction, so let's do a math enter. And oh, what do you know? Take a look at my two equations. Solved for y. They are exactly the same. Same slope, same y-intercept. The lines are the same. That means that they're an infinitely many number. We don't want to choose this one. Even though they says the lines are the same, this part is wrong. When the lines are the same, they share every single line that they have, an infinite number. This one right here, if we look at the first sentence, we have a rate of change, 22 per hour. So that's my slope. And we have a one-time admission fee. That's my y-intercept. Now I could graph this one. I have a y-intercept of 45. And my slope is 22, or 22 over 1. So if I go up 22, that puts me at, let's see, there's 10, there's 20, 22. And if I make sure I take care of my scale, I have to go all the way over here to 1. So that's a rise of 22 and a run of 1. Looks kind of weird because the scale is different, but that's what it is. So that's what Pitchfork Ranch. So I'm going to put PR right here so we know that's Pitchfork Ranch. Now if we do the same thing to the other one, Crier Creek, do we have a rate of change? Yes, $35 per hour. So that's my slope. One-time admission fee of $30. So I could do that one as well. So my y-intercept is 30. My slope is 35 over 1. So if I go up 35, 10, 20, 30, 35, and over 1, and I'm going to be, let's see, make sure I got that right. I'm doing it 10, 20, 35 over 1. It'll be somewhere around here, I think. So if I were to ask you what is this ordered pair, would this x value right here, this one right here, would this x value be closer to 0.5, 1, 1.5, or 2? Well, if I look down right here, if I kind of follow it down to my x axis right here, I can see that my x value is closest to 1. Actually, if you put it in your calculator, it's a little bit more than 1, but it's said to approximate. Answer is 1 hour. Problem number 5. This guy is solved for y, this guy is not. I need to add 2x to both sides. So that gives me y is equal to 2x plus 2. This guy can stay as is, which is 2x plus 6. We notice that they have the same slopes, but different y-intercepts. If we're not sure, guess what we do with every equation? That's right. Star rule number 1. If you see an equation, we're going to graph that sucker. What do you see? See parallel lines. Do parallel lines cross? No. When lines cross, they have a solution. So I have no solution. Answer C. Number 6, I'm going to take this guy right here and solve for y by subtracting x from both sides, and I notice that my y-intercept is 50. So my second line, I'm going to call this is the first one, this is L1. My second line has a y-intercept of 50. Well, if I look right here, that means that this line right here is my second line, which means this one has to be the first. Again, I'm looking at my y-intercept to help me identify which line is which. And I can do this on all the answer choices. This one is 50, so this line is the second inequality, and this one is the first. I can do that on all of them. Alright, so did I have to switch the sign when I subtracted x from both sides? No. So my second line has a greater than or equal to sign. So I'm going to shade above. I'm going to shade up from my second line. So my second line is going to have shading above. Now, if I look at answer choice A, specifically this area right here, am I shading above line 2? No, I've got clear paper right there. This choice is actually shading down. So because it's violating this greater than symbol, it can't be A. Well, let's look at the next one. And I'll rewrite the inequality for the second line right here. Okay, line 2 greater than, we're shading up. Does this one shade up? Yeah, I've got shading going up there. I've got shading going up there. Shading going up there. Yep, I've got a lot of shading on, so it could be B. So let's look at C, and the same thing, just looking at line 2. I got some shading up there, but then again, I'm hitting some unshaded spots up here. Unshaded, unshaded, and when I get up here, I'm totally unshaded. I am not shading above line 2 down here. It can't be C. Has to be B. Now if we look at the other inequality, just to verify, 4x plus 7y is less than or equal to 30. I'm not even going to solve this thing for y. All I'm going to do is look right here and ask myself, does the sign switch? Does the less than symbol become a greater than symbol? Because I'm going to have to divide by 7. The answer is no. This one is going to say less than. So my first line, L1, is still going to be shading below. And let's go over here and verify. Are we shading below L1 and B? Yes, 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 yes. And the overlap is this little slither going down to the right. That's why the answer is B. Alright, this one right here, let's solve it for y. Subtract x from both sides. Always need to, if you see an equation, we're going to solve for y. So 36 minus x. This one right here, if I just multiply that out, what is 36 times 0.16? I think it's 5.76. So I'm still going to subtract 0.14x from both sides. So this leaves me 0.24y is equal to negative 0.14x plus this 5.76. I'm not worried about decimals because the calculator is going to take care of it later. I'm going to divide by the coefficient, which is 0.24. Everything gets divided by 0.24. Alright, so let's see what this yucky looking fraction right here turns out to be. Clear that out. Negative 0.14 divided by 0.24. Oh my goodness. Let's see what kind of fraction I got here. Math, enter. Oh, negative 7/12. So that's not too bad. And now let's divide 5.76 divided by 0.24. Oh. So on both of these, I've solved for y, because that's the first step. We're going to solve for y. Now I notice over here that I've got a y-intercept of 36 and 24. So when I go to graph these things, I got to change my window because it's not going to work. A standard window just goes to 10. I need to go to 24. So up here, 36 minus x, and again if you wrote negative x plus 36, that's the same thing. Negative 7/12. X plus 24. Let's go up here and let's change, I don't know, let's change everything to 50s. So my minimums will be negative 50, my maximums will be positive 50. Don't change the scale. Negative 50 on the minimums, positive 50 on the maximums. Let's see what happens here. There's a line crossing there, and the other one is coming in right there. And the keystroke for finding a solution is second, calc 5, enter. Alright, so this is important. X is 28.8 and y is 7.2. And now we have those answers not here and not here. see, we have them in both of these. Now we got to be careful here. Okay, let's go up here and look. What is that? X goes with the 14%. And Y goes with the 24%. So now, let's see. This one says 7.2 is with the 14. Nope, that's not what this says. This says the 28.8 goes with the 14. Yeah, that's what we got right here. The answer is D. Alright, this one right here. Need to solve for Y real fast, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Don't forget the negative in front of the 2y. And we're going to divide by negative, so that's going to switch the sign. So y is less than a positive 3/2 x minus 2, because a positive divided by a negative. Alright, so which one is that? This is my line 1. This is my line 1. Which one has a y-intercept of negative 2? That's this guy right here. Oh, it's the dash line. I should have known that. So this one right here is line 1. And we're shading below. Shading below. This line below goes down. So this shading right here is going to hit what? C and B. Alright, so my answer is either C or B. So I can get rid of those two answers right away. So let's go on to the other one. Right here, subtract 3x from both sides. We know, oh, well, we really don't need to right here because we know that we're not going to switch the symbol because that's a positive y. This one has to be L2. So we're going to keep this less than goes down. Less than goes down, so less than goes down and it touches D. I don't know if you can see it or not. I hope you can. It's D and C. D and C. And we notice right here that the only letter that is shaded both times is C. The answer is C. Alright, this guy right here has a y-intercept of 1. It has a negative slope. I go up one, left one, up one, left one, up one, left one, up one, so a negative 1. It is dotted and it is shaded below, so I'm going to use that. So y equals mx plus b becomes y equals negative 1x. I'm sorry, and that should be a less than symbol because we were making an inequality. And plus 1. So do I have this answer anywhere? Let's see. That's not it. That one is close, but that one has a line underneath it. That would be a solid line, and I clearly don't have a solid line. Now remember, you got to look in front of the y. This one will stay less than, but this one, I'm going to divide by a negative, is going to switch the sign. So the only one that matches my symbol is C. And the last one is a calculator problem. Put this bad boy in your calculator. What do we have? 4/5. We've got 4/5 and then parentheses 10x plus 15. And we want to go to the table because we're having a table of values. Remember, domains are x's, so I have x's of negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. I'm looking for the solution set, which is the y values right here, and my calculator will do that for me. So if I come up here and take a look, when x is negative 2, y is negative 4. When x is negative 1, y is positive 4, and hopefully you can see the answers from there. Now you notice I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 members of the domain. So I need 5 members of the range or solution set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only one that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer is D. Good luck on your test. And I made it under 20 minutes. Barely.